My husband thought he'd already taken my home. He said it like a scheduling update. I told you, he added, almost bored. My mom needs the apartment for 3 months, so don't bother coming back. I was standing in a hotel hallway in Denver, key card still in my hand. 3 months? I asked. It's temporary, he said. You're traveling anyway. He hung up before I answered. I didn't call back. Because there was one thing he'd forgotten. Before I left, I'd installed a small camera in the bedroom. Not for him, for the contractor who'd been coming in and out while I was gone. I went back inside my room, sat at the desk, opened my laptop, logged in. For a second, all I saw was the empty bed, the curtains half open, the same place I'd made that morning. Then the door opened. His mother walked in first. Not surprising. What was surprising was who walked in behind her. I didn't recognize her at first. Younger, confident. Like she already knew where everything was. She didn't look around. She went straight to my closet, opened it, started pulling out my clothes. Behind her, my husband laughed. "Relax," he said. "It's hers now anyway." I didn't move, didn't speak, just watched. Because at that moment, I understood something he didn't. He thought he'd pushed me out. He didn't realize he'd just given me a perfect view of everything. I didn't stop the recording, didn't call, didn't even blink. Because the moment you interrupt people like that, they change. And I needed them exactly as they were. His mother sat on my side of the bed like she'd claimed it years ago, smoothed the sheets, looked around with quiet approval. The other woman, still in my closet, pulled out a dress. My dress. Held it up against herself in the mirror. "Too conservative," she said. My husband laughed again. "You'll fix that. Fix that." I zoomed in slightly, not enough to pixelate. Just enough to see her face clearly. I didn't recognize her, which meant something worse. She wasn't new, she was comfortable. 3 months is generous, his mother said. She should be grateful you didn't do this sooner. I gave her time, he replied. More than she deserved. I sat back in my chair, let that settle, because it told me everything I needed to know. This wasn't temporary. This wasn't about his mother. This had been planned, carefully, slowly, and badly. The woman disappeared into the bathroom. Water started running. My husband stayed in the bedroom, opened my nightstand, paused, then smiled. And that's when I saw it. Him picking up something I knew he shouldn't have found. Something I hadn't even checked before leaving. I leaned closer to the screen because whatever he was holding, it changed his expression. Not confident, not relaxed. Careful. And that was the first mistake he made. He turned it over in his hand like he wasn't sure what it was. A small black card, no logo, no label, just a matte surface that looked like it didn't belong to anything ordinary. "Where'd she get this?" he said. His mother glanced over, uninterested at first. "Probably work." "No," he said. "This isn't from her office." He slipped it back into the drawer, but not the way he found it. Slightly angled, careless. I noted that, because people don't realize how much they reveal in small movements. The bathroom door opened. The woman stepped out wearing one of my robes. My robe. She didn't ask, didn't hesitate, just walked past him like she'd done it before. "How do I look?" she asked. He didn't answer right away. Not because he was distracted, because he was thinking about the card, about something he didn't understand yet. "You look good," he said finally, but his tone had shifted. Subtle. Enough. I minimized the video feed for a second, opened another window, checked the system. Still active, still recording. Every angle, every room, not just the bedroom. That was the part he didn't know. He thought the camera was an accident, a leftover from renovations. He didn't realize it was part of something much bigger. I went back to the video, watched him glance at the drawer again, then at the woman, then at the door, and I knew he wasn't thinking about me anymore. He was starting to think about what he'd just touched, and what it might mean. He tried to act normal. It didn't last. "Where did you say she works again?" he asked, too casually. The woman shrugged. "Consulting, right?" "Yeah," his mother said. "Something like that. Something like that." He opened the drawer again, slower this time, took the card out, held it up to the light like that would reveal something it hadn't before. "Does this look normal to you?" he asked. Neither of them answered. Because it didn't. There was no brand. No company name, no chip, just a thin strip along the edge. I watched him hesitate, then walk toward the door. "Where are you going?" his mother asked. "Living room," he said. "Better light." He didn't know there was a camera there too. He sat on the couch, leaned forward, and tried the card against the side of his phone. Nothing. Then he turned it over again, pressed it against the coffee table. Nothing. He was guessing, which meant he didn't understand it. Good. Back in the bedroom, the woman was still going through my closet. Throwing things onto the bed now, not sorting, discarding, like she was already replacing me. His mother watched her for a second, then said, "Make space. She won't need most of that anymore." I closed my laptop halfway, not because I'd seen enough, because I already knew how this was going to end. He thought the card was random, a mistake, something he could ignore. He didn't realize it was the one thing in that apartment he should have never touched. I opened the system panel, not the camera feed, the other one, the one tied to the card, still active, still linked. Good, because that meant he hadn't broken anything, just triggered it. He was still in the living room, turning it over in his fingers like it might explain itself. "Mark?" his mother called from the bedroom. "In a minute." He didn't look up, didn't move, focused, careful. That was new. I tapped one setting, then another. Nothing obvious. No alarms. No alerts. Just a quiet confirmation line across the screen. Access registered. I leaned back in my chair, because now I knew exactly what I needed to do next. Back on the camera feed, he stood up slowly, walked back toward the bedroom. Card still in his hand. "Find anything?" the woman asked. He didn't answer, he just handed it to her. "Have you seen something like this before?" She took it. Looked at it for less than 2 seconds, then gave it back. "No. Too fast. Too sure. I caught that." So did he. "You're sure?" he asked. She hesitated, just slightly, and that was enough, because now it wasn't just him wondering, it was both of them. Good. Confusion spreads faster than fear, and lasts longer. I brought the laptop fully open again, pulled up the next file, because the card wasn't the problem, it was just the key, and they'd already used it, without realizing. They just unlocked everything. I didn't rush it. People make better mistakes when they think they still have time. I opened the dashboard tied to the card. Clean, quiet, no alarms, just logs, entry points, access history, and a list of devices connected to the apartment network. His phone was there. So was the TV, the tablet he used for work. Everything. That was the part he never understood. The card wasn't for doors, it was for systems. Back on the feed, he was pacing now. Slow. Measured. Trying to look like he wasn't. "Maybe it's nothing," the woman said. "Nothing doesn't register," he replied. Good. He'd noticed. He sat down again, opened his phone, typed something, stopped, deleted it, then tried again. I watched the screen through the camera reflection on the glass table. He was searching, not for the card, for me. Too late. I clicked into the file Patricia had helped me prepare. Not legal, not yet. Just organized. Transfers, dates, access times. Cross-referenced with his device log. Every time he'd opened my accounts. Every time he'd moved money, every time he thought I wouldn't notice. I tagged the entries, labeled them, built the timeline, because when this moved forward, it wouldn't be an argument. It would be a record. He stood up suddenly, looked toward the bedroom, then back at the card in his hand. And for the first time, he didn't look curious. He looked careful. And that was when I knew. He was starting to understand something was wrong, just not how wrong it already was. He stopped pacing, sat down again, slower this time. "Call her," his mother said from the doorway. "Ask her what this is." He didn't, because calling me meant admitting he didn't understand something. And Mark hated that. "I'll figure it out," he said, but he didn't sound sure anymore. I opened the next panel, selected his phone, not to access it, just to sync the logs. Timestamps lined up instantly. Clean. Precise. Every transfer matched. Every access point confirmed. No gaps. No room for excuses. Back on the feed, the woman had stopped going through my things. Now she was watching him. "You look worried," she said. "I'm not," he replied. "Too fast." He stood up again, walked to the window, then back to the drawer, pulled it open, checked if anything else was missing or watching. He was thinking about cameras now. Good, but he was thinking too late. I minimized the system panel, opened my email, attached the file, all of it, the timeline, the logs, the transfers, addressed it to Patricia, and one more contact, just in case. My finger hovered over send for a second, not because I was unsure, because after this, there was no version of things where he talked his way out. I clicked. Sent. On the screen, he froze again, looking at the card like it had answers. It didn't. But what came next would, and he was about to find out. Not everything you take, quietly, stays hidden. I closed the laptop. Not all the way, just enough to dim the screen, because at that point, there was nothing left to watch. The rest would happen without me. An hour later, my phone buzzed. Patricia. I got it, she said. No greeting. All of it. I know. A pause. Then quieter. Are you sure you want to do this? I looked out the hotel window. Traffic moving, people going somewhere. Normal. Yes. Another pause. Then we don't wait, she said. I'm filing first thing in the morning. Good. She hung up. I didn't call Mark, didn't text, didn't warn him, because people like him only understand consequences when they arrive without explanation. The next call came 2 hours later. Not from him. From his number. Different voice. Ma'am, the man said, calm, official. This is Officer Reynolds. We need to ask you a few questions regarding unauthorized financial activity connected to your business account. I leaned back in my chair. Of course. Across the country, in the apartment he thought was his now, Mark would be standing there, trying to explain something he didn't understand anymore, trying to control something that was already gone. I didn't feel angry, didn't feel satisfied, just steady, because he'd taken small amounts, quietly, carefully, thinking I wouldn't notice. He was wrong. And now, everything he took was about to be counted, one transaction at a time.